Hitting new game. That probably sounds bad. Whenever I yell past the microphone, it sounds bad. Like every time I like lean around the microphone in any context, or like, you know what I mean.
I thought you just meant like saying new game sounds bad, and I'm like, oh sure.
I was curious about that. Oops. Oops.
Start over.
Oops. Oops.
Oops.
Bring game back. There we go. I thought quit game. I meant to go back to the main menu. Hey everybody! Today our goal is to Jenna Begay. We're gonna be gay with Jenna.
Was that her ancestor's name?
That's her name.
Oh, is her last name actually?
Her name
Begay?
still is Begay. Because apparently it's like a
that
real...
Jenna Begay.
Well, apparently Begay is a real... is just a real name that natives tend to have, but it's also very funnily chosen in the specific context of that it was a story about ancestors being outed as gay.
I always like the last name Gaylord, because I mean that just sounds tops.
But to describe what just happened in the last few seconds, because it was just a mess, I hit skip because I was just trying to check whether or not this is like old dialogue or not. Because it's interesting that when we play a new game, they do this, but it's like built. I think the idea is that it's built into the idea that you're replaying the game for different routes to find different paths of the game. So they have like this narration that acknowledges that textually, essentially.
But hypothetically, what if you picked? Because what did you select just now?
Oh, this is I hit new game. So this is the beginning of the game.
Did it say this to us the first time?
That's what I just checked, is that I hit skip to see if it did. And as far as I could tell, but this is muddy because like, you know, I never know when I might have just like launched the game again and like mashed through to like try to like do something else at some point and not thought about it, like especially if it was between recordings or something. So I'm not 100% sure, but it did skip, which I think means that it was here the first time. So it was always saying this, I think. The problem with being able to check via skip is that it only works until you've seen it once, and it's hard to tell what past thing I could have done that would have fucked up our ability to read this kind of thing.
Well, it's not a bad strategy, because putting this at the beginning of the game, like, sounds ominous as a new player, but secondly, you're probably going to forget they said that to you, and you're going to play it again, you're going to think they're talking to you. It makes sense contextually every other time you play it. The first time it just sounds ominous, so it works in every context it can show up. So like, if I was going to make a game, I could throw something like this at the beginning, and it would work every time.
Yeah. I knew you'd be back. You all come back eventually. Why do you try to run away in the first place?
Yeah, I'm just so damn irresistible.
It doesn't matter. Even though you're here, you're going to try and run again. Just stop. Because just like this town, you're only moving in circles.
Whoa. About coming back to Echo.
Yeah. I get a lot about how I feel about the whole thing. You guys excited?
Wow.
Not really. I'm assuming we'll all just pick up where we left off.
I meant Echo. Are you excited to go back?
Oh. I don't really know how to answer that.
So he was answering, I'm not really excited in
about
terms
meeting
of,
the people
about
again.
meeting us, like hanging out again. Like that's fucking rude.
So yeah, our goal is that I realized that we played the whole game as openly bisexual Chase. So I want to see how the story plays out when you're not openly bisexual Chase. I'm gonna skip picking the TJ choice just because we could probably do that before the TJ route. So,
Ding!
It's very funny to me that the fucking
that is somebody's.
That's just someone's house cat. Yes, I'm gay. Yeah.
Jenna's secretly crushed inside.
It was
It's like, see, he's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, they're talking about like Leo feeling threatened.
See, he's got nothing to worry about. Jenna turns around and is like.
I'm not in the mood to go in depth about my sexuality.
That makes me think. See, he is fucking. He's canonically bisexual.
Yes, 100%. Saying anything else just confuses people. It's actually a really good little moment that, like, you cannot choose Chase's sexuality. You can only choose whether or not he acknowledges that he's bi in this scene. But internally, there's that acknowledgement that he is definitely bi, no matter what. You don't get to choose that. So it's just kind of quietly sad. Like, almost like you... Like, I wonder how many people even, like, just did that and then just kind of felt bad. Like, oh, I just made him stay in the closet, essentially, with his own, like, his closest friends.
That is very sad.
It's just like
I understand the problems with this as a bisexual person, and I totally get it. It's also kind of similar to how I tell people that I'm a vegetarian even though I'm a pescatarian because I don't want to fucking explain it.
So we're doing the Jenna route and we're just skipping through, but I'm waiting to see where it lands to see changes between gay and bi.
We're basically trying to figure out what's going to take the place of the moments where Jenna and Chase are, like, intimate.
Moo.
So, Chase, I have to ask, have you been dating around at Pueblo?
That question takes me by surprise, and I pause, looking at Jenna. TJ looks surprised as well, but looks at me curiously.
It has been years since you and Leo were together proper. You two were pretty outspoken in all your social media pictures.
TJ stirs some from his initial shock at the topic shift and nods, speaking up. Yeah, in comparison to back in the day, you've been pretty quiet on that front. I feel myself cringe inwardly at the remembrance of all the kissing, selfies, and cheesy song quotes we'd post. Leo did most of it, but I was by no means innocent. As of late, I haven't really posted much. Most of the people who are still in my timeline just rant about political stuff. As the two look on expectantly, I feel myself shift in the pleather diner seat uncomfortably. Well, not really?
Oh?
Yeah, I guess after a relationship as long as Leo and I's, I've kind of just been focused on, adulthood. Adulthood is difficult. A reasonable thing to keep you occupied. TJ nods with a broad smile, his big ears flopping a little.
Well, have you engaged in anything more casual since?
I feel myself blanch a little before recombobulating. TJ...
Instead of discombobulating, it's recombobulating.
I'm sorry, it's just... I literally just tried to edit a highlight of Ghost TJ. I couldn't get it to come together. It's too long and awkward of a scene and doesn't have a very funny ending despite having a funny setup of Ghost TJ. But that was when we had a whole conversation about recombobulating. Well, it's the use of this word.
Like I said, discombobulating, I feel, comes up not amazingly often, but just occasionally, and it is interesting enough of a word for it to stand out. Recombobulating, I feel like I've never really heard until this game.
And it's used just often enough to be like, huh. TJ just looks confused, thankfully. I downloaded one of those gay apps for meeting guys.
Those gay-ass apps.
Downloaded Bark. All it really does is make me feel like crap, though.
Bark's just the normal one in this universe.
Yeah.
Because there's furries don't exist in this universe because it's just the natural order.
I look sidelong towards the links beside Jenna. He gives me a curious look. People on there can be pretty speciest. I see a lot of no Muciladees, no otters, and no musk types. I met up with a few guys, but it was all pretty awkward and didn't go anywhere. Most didn't look like their profile picture. That's awful. I can't imagine putting yourself up to that sort of thing.
TJ's literally, he's like secretly on there, like, he's got like 3 different accounts.
He's been hunting specifically for Chase for years.
His bio says, I love musk types.
Musk only, please.
Musk me, daddy.
We both went for musk me. He pauses, then quickly holds up his paws defensively. I mean, meeting someone like you and meeting someone you like and love organically, I think that's the word, is important.
I'm into pesticides and all my love.
Yeah.
Just spray it down, make it invulnerable.
Test my love immunity system.
Kill those bugs. Well, Chase here doesn't have that luxury. According to a study I read, about 1 out of every 25 people are gay.
I want my love toxic.
That's what Britney Spears was actually singing about. People just don't understand.
My vegetables are unsafe to eat.
I gotta wash them first. Then the chances of both parties having mutual attraction lowers the compatibility chances even more so. The online component is almost a necessity depending on one's region, Echo seeming to be the bizarre exception. Yeah,
everyone's gay
I
here,
know.
apparently. But somehow more homophobic.
That's why
especially the gay people.
I feel kind of bad for Jenna now because every person... Well, I don't... See, TJ, I don't necessarily know for sure.
I mean, I think TJ just... I think Jenna just immersed herself in a gay pocket.
You mean like me? Like
yeah, like...
I live here with 3 gay men.
Because like the party seemed pretty hetero. Like, what you hamming on my girl? I don't know. It's hamming. I couldn't think of a verb.
Hamming.
You macking on my girl? What do the people say?
I don't.
The angry coyote that fucking knocked us the fuck out and stuff. And like, oh my god, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I
Heather
can't believe
or whoever.
this.
Like, oh my god.
You can tell I just read this thing yesterday when I was trying to do the highlight.
I mean, mackin implies. I thought mackin meant like kissing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what people say.
I'm trying. My stupid fucking Twitter bio right now is not straight, but played one on TV. Because I was impersonating a straight person for a decade. I see TJ's... I wasn't very good at it. I see TJ's face shift to a guilty expression.
You're telling me.
The gray feline muttering a quiet, oh, before taking a long drink of water. I uninstalled it, though, when I visited my parents over Christmas. I did eventually reinstall it, but I guess I haven't looked at it very much since.
I think you should check back into it. I'm actually a bit curious what sort of results you'll get in Echo.
My mind reels back to 15-year-old me posting a photoshopped picture of myself on Peyton List Mail for Mail and the horrible aftermath. I really wish my old phone had all my screenshots from, like... I used to collect the cringiest Tinder bios and like messages I ever got. Oh, no.
And I had a whole folder and I really wish I still had them because they were so interesting. Interesting in terms of tactic, but then also like...
Tactic?
Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like somebody thought this would work. Then also just sometimes like super rude or just really bizarre or like... I wish I still had them. I could make a coffee table book of them.
Coffee table book?
Yes.
I don't know, Jenna. Probably wouldn't get much anyway. Most results would be from Peyton, miles away. Plus, I'm pretty sure I already know the only result is going to be a certain shirtless Gila.
Honestly, I hate to sound like one of those podcasts, but something has to be in the water here. First Flynn, then Leo, then you. I watched all of you grow up and turn out gay, and I'm here left alone, having no one to fuck.
She cast her magic spell, Jenna, Begay, and then all of her friends were gay.
They just said her name, and they're like, well, you know, maybe I am gay. They just put the idea in all their brains. Like, wait a minute. You know what? Now that I really think about it. I still remember you sitting on the edge of my bed, sniffling about your parents finding out and how much of a deviant you were. Completely unaware that I had had the same sort of conversation with both Flynn and Leo about a year earlier.
Oh, God. I placed my face into my palm. It is kind of weird, I guess. Jenna grins and looks out the window.
So I need to ask you a favor, Chase.
Nope.
No favor for you.
The skip button lit up. That means there's no more new.
So basically we just don't talk about... I think she says something about like, oh, what about girls? You know?
I think that was mostly an absence of hetero. I don't know if there was any new dialogue for sure.
No, I think all that was the same.
Yeah, but I think it was just the absence of old dialogue. So I think you can get really precise when you program these games as far as like what is considered new and old text. Because it's like a choose your own adventure game, essentially, like a choose your own adventure book, you know what I mean, where it says turn to page 57. Like that's how essentially like it works behind the scenes, but it's like referring to specific text lines in the script. And I think you can make it literally I think you can make it so that how do I put this? I think the way that they handle it is that when a scene is going to be different based on a past choice, they literally fork it into a completely different branch, and then they copy paste the scene into the other branch, and then they change the part they want, and then they leave the rest there, then at the end, the branches merge at the end. But if you wanted to, I think you could be really precise and have it only branch at the new dialogue and then close immediately afterwards each time.
Yeah, so you can choose which suits the situation better.
That would make the skip button more consistently reliable about what is actually new and old.
Yeah.
Because if you copy paste that whole scene into the other branch, then that copy of the text is still unread by the player previously, so it counts as new. And so it leads to these very long segments where we're like, what did change?
No, I think all that was the same. I think it was just... But yeah, they probably just like were like, oh, this entire conversation is like highlighted as being different because there is, like you said, an absence. So I had to sit through all of it. I don't mind rehashing though. I like talking about Chase's dating life.
But it's part of what made me give up on trying to see all the changes in Carl's route, because I was under the impression that they might have literally just branched it at the beginning of the route and just duplicated all of Carl's route, and like none of it was going to be useful for the skip tool. And I'm like, this is unreasonable for us to like try to find the differences, so I'm just going to skip to the part where it really changes.
Yeah, I get you.
Which is the bad route, the bad ending. That's why I gave up on Carl's alternate thing for like an entire route. And I'm like, we can probably figure this out on some level. Well, so now we're at the mall. His
so far has had the least amount of impact in terms of difference, because I feel like Leo's and Jenna's had such a stark, scary.
I mean,
difference.
Carl had like a million dead babies in the mines. Like there was a lot. I guess so. It went incredibly like intense.
Yeah, but Leo's is like definitely the most hardcore. It's very brutal, and Jenna fucking destroys the whole town.
Leo's hits the hardest because it actually is very tightly connected to his characterization, and like it's all of his deepest flaws taken to the like to their most horror movie extremes, and like to this grim outcome of him accidentally killing Chase while literally refusing to let go of him, and that's what kills Chase, while also still being so delusional that he doesn't even register what's happening and just refuses to he completely like splits from reality while Chase is dying, and he just further causes Chase's death. And he just kills Kudzu for like no good reason because of how delusional he is. But Carl's ending, it works less well because I don't know if it necessarily even like is necessarily like not following.
I don't think there's as many stakes. I think that's the problem. Is like in Leo's.
There's stakes because everyone's dying and stuff. It's just that like it's in Carl's ending, in Carl's like worse ending. Part of the issue is just that like it's him giving up and surrendering to somebody else, which is in character and it technically follows through and so on. It's just that the things that the other character does are not, they're not part of Carl. So it's not like, oh, here's this like demonic expression of all of the worst parts of Leo. It's like, oh, Carl gave up, so here's just a different character doing stuff for the ending. Yeah, that is true.
I mean, I guess like his flaw is just his passivity, but in reality, like all the actions taking place don't represent Carl as a person. The only thing that represents Carl is the fact that he was so passive and indecisive, and that was manifested in his inability to control his own life. But you're right, everything that happens after that is not Carl. Well, in Leo, it's like Leo's like obsessiveness and his inability to let go, and Jenna's like her cynicism
and her pragmatism.
He's pragmatism to like a fault.
Like distressing, pragmatism where she will destroy an entire town to end this evil once and for all, essentially. But like she's like not even reacting to like people she's known for a long time dying, and like she probably kills her brother in that scene. Granted, her brother was not scoring points in that route, which still surprises me a bit. Like, they introduced that they're siblings, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, Jenna even says at the beginning that she, like, kind of would want to see him. Like,
it's rough. There's so many levels. I'm like, why are any of you guys friends? Why did you come back to Echo? What are you doing? Above all others, I don't understand why Jenna came back to Echo. It's just that seems like a strange why, or in this case, why Jenna came back to Echo twice.
Well, because her favorite people, from what I can gather in this group, is Chase and TJ.
Yeah,
and both of them are already at college.
Like Jenna seems to Jenna seems to hate Carl and not get along with Flynn, and Leo's one of her oldest friends, but it doesn't really feel like they like each other very much either, ever since the phone incident, at the very least. And I guess the phone incident wasn't in Echo. That was like somewhere in between, because Leo had to like kind of visit or something. Or no,
because he was.
No, because they were in school. Because it might have been in Peyton or something.
Yeah.
But like Leo works in Peyton, and Chase I think was going to school in Peyton, because Chase was still in high school in the phone scene, because he was choosing what he's going to do in college. But like at that point, Jenna had to come back after she already fled Echo and changed her name because of how much she hates Echo. I'm surprised she came back for the phone scene, but I guess she was kind of still friends with them. But I'm like, I'm a little surprised with how much she hates it here that she committed to this trip and is present for this game, because of how much she seems to genuinely just resent this place and everyone in it. Essentially, I'm like, what did you?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what she wanted to get out of this. Maybe it's like, maybe she kind of fell out. Like, she doesn't talk to Chase in a while. And Chase just kind of brings up this idea, like, hey, like, I'm going to do some project. Like, do you want to help me with it or come with me or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe this is like a good road trip for us to like bond again. You know what I mean? Like, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I am that person who just says yes to things that don't sound like fun at all.
Me too.
Like, let's go.
It's like, oh, you're running errands? I'll go with you. Like, sure.
We are now back in this place. Let's see. Trying to check like what's the context here. I'll stop by and help you pack when the time comes.
I'm not looking.
I'm moving to Weston after college. Okay. A wry expression crosses her face, and I feel her hip bump into my thigh. I nearly teeter over into a potted fern, though she manages to help yank me back by the wrist. She's so short, but she certainly doesn't act like it in any way. The stereotype about meek Phoenix is completely untrue. She wraps an arm around my waist and gives my side a bit of a squeeze, eliciting a small irk from yours truly. With a smirk plastered over my muzzle, I give one of her big ol' ears a flick. Something about this feels familiar. I watch Leo gesticulate wildly with his back turned in front of me, and I can feel my heart thud in my chest. After the musk-off incident, I'm pretty nervous to be doing this sort of thing around Leo, even if I know that we're just joking around. When he was like visibly jealous that we smelled like Jenna, he was like incredibly suspicious in the diner.
So then I wonder if Leo knows about like our bisexuality then.
I don't know if anyone would.
But I mean, but like
I almost wonder if Chase learned about that in college.
Maybe, but it just seems like, I just think it'd be weird for Leo to be like, I don't know.
Because people's understanding changes so much over time. Like, I've known people who were absolutely sure they weren't bi until they were, and then there's people, people
Stephanie,
who really clung to the idea of being bi, but they were just gay and kind of like resentful of themselves, and then it felt like less taboo to be bi than to be gay. Which is a thing that people wield against actual bi people.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's the exact opposite. At least now, maybe it's like you used to say that you were bi to like give your parents hope that you'd have a grandkid one day or something. But now it's like you're ostracized by both communities.
But it's like that's Toaster's journey, is thinking he was bi for a while and be like, no, I'm just really gay. The way he put it is that he worked to be into girls.
And he shouldn't have to do that.
It was like effort. and just realizing that that's not necessary. Like, that's just a pointless thing to cling to, I guess.
I was listening to someone on a podcast talk about it was the same thing for them, but they thought that they were bisexual, but they end up just being really straight. But there's like such a big stigma. Like, I feel like that's harder. Okay, so like if you decide like, okay, like, oh, I might be bi, but it turns out I'm actually gay. The gay community is like, cool, thumbs up. But it's like if you're like, I might be bi, but it turns out you're straight. The straight community never wants to hear about that ever again, because it's like your girlfriend or your husband or whoever is never going to want to hear about that time you experimented in college.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be that thing that fucks up your relationship.
Oh, straight people those are the shitty straight people though. It's like the previous conversation. We were like, but bi men are better at sex.
They are.
Like
I told
like people who never experimented and never risked anything at all. It's like, I mean, no shaming people for like just not. Like,
it's cool if you know what you want. Like that's awesome for you. But
if you refuse to for like homophobic reasons, then it's just pointless. It's pointless self-deprivation essentially. Like to be like afraid of that idea.
You may never be completely happy. You may never completely know why.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, if there's like, you know, no shadow of a doubt, like you just are really confident in that, and that's honestly really great because you have to go through less tribulations than like most people do. But if you decided to like give it a try and just see how it worked, then that's like no shame to anybody on either side of this party. Like good for you for like at least giving yourself that option and seeing who you are. Like that's great.
I hate the idea of somebody like trying out different sexual experiences and then their future spouse like being somebody who would like lose their shit over learning about that kind of thing. It's like, well, that's not a very good relationship. You're not a very good person. Like that'd be a horrible thing to realize you need to hide from someone, and it gets brought up once awkwardly, and then you just like it like causes this rift that you just try not to acknowledge for years. You just never want to mention it because they clearly are uncomfortable with it. It's like that's not a good foundation to go with. Like that doesn't go away. You just think about that periodically, probably forever.
It's a jealousy issue for people where it's like, you know, it's like some wife learns that her husband like one time had sex with some guy in college and then decided he didn't like it, but she'll always be like, is he actually gay? She's gonna think about that forever, you know, if she's like an unhealthy person. But then also like, so I figure like as a bisexual person, I'm in the best camp with my complete honesty. Although it's always going to be a thing, because whether it's like, you know, the only options are like end up with a girl, end up with a guy, and the girl's going to be like, oh, are you sure you don't want to be with a guy? And the guy's like, are you sure you don't want to be with a girl? So like either way, like you're screwed. But at least I'm honest about it, and I'm not like that person where it comes up awkwardly later and it's like, well, my marriage is ending because my significant other thinks I want to fuck other people.
There's that weird element of like people treat bi people like they essentially don't exist, and then unless they're literally in the process of being bisexually poly right now.
Well, it's like you know,
you have to be simultaneously dating both genders at the same time, or you're just like actually pretending to be bi or something.
If I was with a girl, there's a chance she might be like, you're not bi. No, you're gay. You're gay. You just are. Like, you know, and then if you end up with a guy, it's like, you're not bi. Like they're not gonna believe it. Like basically, so unless you end up with another bi person, they're not gonna believe it.
Yeah, it's very stupid.
It is stupid.
We're really bad at everything.
Human beings.
We should figure things out.
Yes.
We did it all wrong.
Everything everywhere all at once. Everything everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Was that meme? It's like everybody every time all together everywhere.
Yep, that's the name of the movie.
Oh, damn it.
She lets go of my waist, pointing ahead. I think these are just absences of flirtiness.
See, that's what I thought would happen. Like, that was my hypothesis in this.
Yeah, but something has to happen when they spend the night together.
I think they're just going to watch anime.
Let's see. We're here, I think. She reaches over and I feel her paw ruffle my head scruff. I rouse from my lulled state, blinking up at her. She covers the phone with a free paw, muttering to me.
Hey, wake up. Can you go see if TJ made any progress upstairs?
Oh, yeah, sure thing. Hearing the telltale thuds of Flynn's heavy-footed gait upon the terracotta stairway, I glance up. He returns, shaking his head. Shit's still there. Oh, this isn't the night they spend there.
No,
this is what. Good dragon.
I love Good Dragon.
That was just an absence of flirty, and that's when Flynn walks in like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Say nothing like a bitch. Micah moves on toward the mini storage without incident, though I feel a boiling in my cheeks. My fists begin to clench. We're adults. Why the hell do they still treat me like this? This must be how TJ feels. Oh, you found your chance to dunk on TJ. Jeremy watches Micah for a moment before scratching his gut. His eyes are upon me now. Yeah, you should go now? Oh, yeah. I'll let Jenna know that everything's, all good here. Jeremy just stares at me, then walks back to Heather. She's still crying. I can't believe it. I can't believe this. What the? Oh my God. I can't believe
what's happening? I don't know why my Valley Girl voice is so good.
Hello.
It's
Hello. But it's not new though. That extra slide on top of the day of the week slide.
I don't.
Oh, it's when he gets up and jacks off about Jenna.
Okay, this will be different.
I wasn't even really excited to be here in the first place. It just happened to coincide with my project schedule, and Leo was very insistent.
He's just gonna take a normal shower.
So this is Leo's fault. This entire trip is Leo's fault.
Yeah.
He's gonna work on a project, and then Leo's like, "What if we all get together and have a big family
and we have a birthday
thing?"
party for Carl?
Which every step of the way, we keep getting more and more hints that Leo's only doing this to spend time with Chase. Like it's supposed to be a big event, but
that's how he lured Chase back.
Yeah, but we can tell from how he treats the birthday in every route that like he's way more invested in like impressing Chase to get together with him. I can't exactly blame him for trying. Rose-tinted glasses and all that sort of thing. Yeah, with Leo's rose-tinted glasses, he can't see all of Chase's red flags.
They all just look like flags.
Yeah. Leo and Chase are just always in the fucking van with the red light. They can't see each other's red flags, and holy fuck.
Is that what red lights are for?
They need to never talk to each other again. Like, they're both so bad for each other.
Dude, Roxanne, don't turn on the red light. Let me see those red flags, baby.
As much as I hate Echo, the moments of hanging with the group growing up are still some of the best I've ever had. Even counting recent college happenings. We were all friends, but that friendship came with a lot of serious weight to it. Baggage that was never unpacked, I guess. I didn't honestly expect us to even try to. Flynn had other plans. And who could blame him either? After that, Leo's freak out and Carl going missing. Any sort of semblance of a fun, idle spring break is gone. It's like there's this buzzing tension in the air, methane filling up a room and just waiting for the lighting of a match. God. And here I am, whinging about how the mood is ruined when my old best friend is just fucking gone. What the hell was I expecting? Us to all just hang out a bunch of Christmas lights in Leo's backyard, grill up some carne asada and get drunk and dance to a bunch of indie playlists? I mean, to be fair, Chase, Carl going missing is incredibly unrelated to this entire trip. That just kind of fucking happened. Like, Carl just... I don't think anything about us coming back caused this. Or at least not his like freak out where he runs out of his house because people broke into his house unrelated to us arriving.
Well, he's just like, what did I think was going to happen? And I was like, not this. Like,
yeah.
I think the Christmas lights and the carne asada and the indie playlist is more of a realistic expectation than this. Yeah, so to act like you should have known better makes no sense.
Also, imagine it's also like the most fantastical thing about this entire version that he has is the idea that Leo cooks.
Yeah. Well, maybe his dad will do it.
We all know that only Flynn cooks. Leo eats microwavable TV dinner water.
So it won't be Christmas lights, it'll be red lights. And instead of the carne asada, it's gonna be bluegill on the grill that Flynn's cooking. And instead of indie playlists, it's gonna be weird ambient, like that weird techno, like garage metal song that plays when things get really intense.
One of the most horrifying responses to me making the highlight about the TV dinner is that somebody showed their boyfriend, and their boyfriend was like, "Oh, gross. He's kind of hot, though."
No!
I'd slurp TV dinner water off his dick.
No, dude, there is not a human being in this world.
Just the most horrifying sentence you could possibly say.
They could be the most attractive human being on the face of this earth, and I would not be able to lick TV dinner water off of any sexy part of them ever. I probably couldn't even like kiss. Like, I could be like married and have like 4 kids with someone, and like if they ate TV dinner, I'd be like, go brush your teeth.
This is the only time I've ever felt empowered to kink shame.
Yeah, shame on you, stranger.
Specifically. And of course, I'd fantasized about some sort of brief reunion with Leo. I mean, that's natural, right? I didn't expect him to be in this rough of shape, and I definitely didn't expect this whole Jenna-Leo rivalry to explode like it did. Camera back at the end of my bed.
Okay.
And then he goes into the shower. I was wondering if he even still goes in the shower. Oh.
I bet
I bet Jenna would have loved that shower.
I was trying to read that.
She had to use an outdoor one for most of her life, as I recall. I think she lives off campus now in a studio apartment she picked up. I've never actually seen it. She probably splurged. Didn't we take her to an apartment? Well, I guess that's not the one that she lives in now. Maybe we took her to her friend's house.
Yeah.
She probably splurged with her full ride money and got something really nice. Bet it beats the hell out of communal dorm showers, which are not as sexy as porn makes you believe. I begin lathering further down. Usually I rub one out during shower time. Usually. That's a schedule that's to commit to.
Dude, that's like, I don't know. I don't got time in the shower for that. We live in a drought. I don't got time
also,
to be in the shower
lathering.
doing that.
Are you using shampoo?
To jack off with? That doesn't seem like you should do that.
He's saying lathering, and I'm like, you're playing a dangerous game there. Though at the moment, I'm pretty devoid of those feelings, because Jenna didn't get me there. Ever since I got here, I'm starting to feel sort of detached from everything. Almost like I've made a choice earlier in this route to repress my sexuality. Like all this chaos is going on around me and I'm just here. I just want Carl to magically show up so that we can all go home. I'll rip some archival footage off the internet and just record voiceovers of history off the history section of the county's website. I'm not really an A student anyway. Grades don't even matter in journalism. It's all about who you know, really.
But that's so sad. You're at college for journalism. Aren't you passionate about that?
No.
Obviously
we know that he's not, because Jenna
just suggested
Jenna fucking pushed him to go to college when he didn't necessarily even want to. Which is, like, fine. It's good to encourage people to go to college. But, like, he's so weak-willed that Jenna chose his major and he just did it.
Chase, like, what are you passionate about? Do you care about anything? Like, what are you interested in? What do you do in your free time?
The extent to which Flynn had him pegged at the beginning of the game is just so strong. Maybe in his route.
Maybe Jenna will do it.
I half expected Jenna to.
I would hope she would.
But I close my eyes, hoisting my arm up against the shower wall and resting my forehead against it. The hot water pours down my side. I'm a bit more sensitive to heat there, but I can take it.
Why are you more sensitive to heat on your side? Is that an otter thing?
Otter?
Otter?
Is it lit up? Yes, it is. It's less embarrassing because I didn't jack off this time.
Now things are more tense because I didn't jack off this time.
It's incredibly difficult to help people that I don't want.
It's incredibly difficult to help people that don't want to be helped. It's me.
Yeah, I'm just like parsing what the choice is.
Okay, sorry.
What did we say last time?
Okay. We said,
I think we said that we agree, because that just makes sense. I'm gonna hit disagree and see if the skip button's there. Okay, we said agree last time.
Yeah, I think we said agree.
I don't know about that. He's still Leo after all.
Oh, you're defending Leo.
We've known each other for 15 years, and he's like... I stopped short of saying family, watching Jenna uncross her chest.
Yeah, that'd be incest.
Like, someone I used to understand better than anyone. And it would feel kind of wrong to not at least try. For comparison, you disapprove of how Carl's been living too. But we're still out here trying to find him.
Well, yeah, we don't want him to die. Just because we don't agree with how he's living doesn't mean we want him to be dead.
Very different versions of helping people, too. Like, help Leo fight his destructive tendencies and not do actively destructive things all the time when he's just on a rampage and bigger and stronger than everyone and very strong-willed about this stuff versus Carl's gone.
Like, he could be kidnapped. It could be completely not his fault that he's missing. Like that is not a comparison.
Especially now that we know Brian has Carl, it's like that's not Brian being caught by Carl being caught by Brian and being like torture conditioned isn't really one of his character flaws.
Yeah. How dare you blame him for that? His lifestyle, I just don't agree with it.
I actually don't know if it's a good comparison. And judging by the look on Jenna's face, she doesn't seem to think so either.
Look.
Get dunked on. But that's the only change. She still does the same rant, and then that scene happens. Let's see. Dancing around the...
Yeah, we did this already too. Why is it stopping us?
Well, I went backwards on purpose after that. I fast forward to the new thing, then I go backwards to check what happened.
Yeah, we had that conversation about Jenna's grandmother.
Yeah, and they're like, you're mixing up the different tribes. How dare you, racist? She just shakes her head.
Hey, you're a college-educated journalist now. You can't get away with the cute ignorance anymore. You better know everything all the time, or else
everything everywhere all at once.
Everybody all the time, everywhere.
I've got one more year of that, actually. I say with a faux defensive tone. I guess I should hold on to staying cute as long as I can.
Oh, that's easy, Chase. All you have to do is lose the goatee. Did she roast us like that last time?
I don't know if she did. What? Come on.
No, I think we just said, oh, that'll be very easy for you. I think we were being like cute with him. And now we're just like, your fucking goatee sucks, bro.
We're Jenna now.
Yeah. I mean, Jenna's face is how I feel about that goatee.
The face is so much. That face is so much. I would be so pissed if someone made that face at me.
Dude, I can't even do that. I can't do the one eyebrow raised thing. So you're in luck. I cannot make that face at you.
So much. I hate it. I reach up and grab the dyed piece of facial scruff, and a bubbling sense of self-consciousness burns at my cheeks. Jenna laughs some more.
I'm just kidding. I know Leo isn't a fan of it, though. He told me as much.
I let out a bit of a defeated noise. For some reason, that also kind of stings. Even Leo doesn't like it.
And Leo likes everything.
This is the, we kept each other chained was what we chose first time. Let's do, I don't know how to answer that. The only one that's left.
Yeah.
We already did that's the bad ending fork. We caused the bad ending right after we get shamed about our beard. I don't know. Let's see, it's a actual line. Wow, there's a while back. We're gonna read that, I guess.
What is it with Echo and taking away all that's good?
I don't know how to answer that, but thank you for sharing this.
That's such a bullshit response. I don't know how to respond to that, but thank you for sharing.
Well, I think the thank you for sharing was because she just told a story.
I know, but I'm taking it out of context because it's funnier to me.
Sometimes things are a lot. I rub the back of my neck. Regardless, I guess. Hello, Duke.
Okay, here's the part that we were wondering about.
Anime.
We're just gonna watch the anime and talk about anime theory.
I can't wait. We're gonna hear about Jenna's video essay she's got brewing up.
She's gonna be a super eye patch wolf and make an anime video about the best anime she's seen in a long time.
I wish Super Eye Patch Wolf's videos were more video essays. A lot of times they're just somebody like info dumping about a thing they're excited about, and so a lot of them are just like summarizing stuff with an affected voice.
Well, his stuff recently, they're more like video essays now. I think when he focused more on anime, they were more just about like, I'm excited about these things, and that's great.
Yeah,
and I like the ones where it's like my favorite things of this month or whatever.
To this day, I think his videos are the best when he doesn't talk about anime, because he usually has something more to say. Whereas when he talks about some hype ass anime, oh my god, he usually is just summarizing the events that happen while being very shocked sounding about a bunch of them. And that's most of the video.
Well, I think that he was saying, or in his like one of the videos I saw, he was talking about how like his video on that martial arts being fake, and then like about Blood on the Tracks for some reason did really, which by the way, thanks to him I read that. I fucking love that manga so much. But I already liked Flowers of Evil, and that person is a great mangaka, and they're amazing, and I love everything that they do. But anyways, those ones did really well, which I think gave him confidence to do ones that were not about anime. So all of his ones now are more like, I think, like what I would consider video essays, as opposed to just being like, I love this thing and I'm excited about it, which is great too. Like I said, I'm in the same boat where I'm like, I love anime, that's cool. But they have more of a point. It was fun when he went through like his like, they have more of a thesis like historical deep dive of like the fake martial arts, where it's like it's just purely a performance, but there's also like a nationalistic element to I found
like
that one to be super fascinating.
Performance and belief in the thing, and you can have like how your career ended for acknowledging it and so on. It's just the whole that stuff's wild.
His one on the YouTubers who do the how to be a good YouTuber education video scams was really interesting.
Oh yeah, no, that was one of his best videos in a while.
It was funny because I knew every person he interviewed. Like, I was like, I know all these YouTubers because they're all video essayists.
And also enough of it touched on things that I was trying to write about that I'm like, well, that's one video essay I can just burn. Just light that script on fire. I guess I'm probably not making that one anymore.
Keith, when are you going to make educational videos on how to be a YouTuber?
Well, it's once he gets out of the part about the action. Once he gets out of the weird YouTuber bootcamp part and just talks about like a bunch of the downsides of being a YouTuber, I'm like, this is a lot of my this. I already had like a 10,000 word script that I had worked on that I like set aside because I was actually just getting depressed working on it, and so I went and then I ended up going on to make the Lego She video, and so it's been sitting there in Google Drive for like 10 months untouched and unrevised and unupdated, and it had so much more to go. And when videos like that come out, I'm like, I don't think I need to make this. It's already been made to a large extent and covered a lot of the same points and already has the views, so it's like,
and is done well made. Like but the I don't know, maybe someday in the future they'll look at it and be like, oh, I'm inspired again, but who knows? Just leave it there for now.
At the time, I hope I don't get inspired again, because when I started making that script, it was because I was in a bad place, specifically because I was really bitter about Lindsay Ellis getting chased off of the platform because of just increasingly nonsensical shit happening. I'm like, all right, guys, here's just the insane shit that I've observed of what it's like to be a content creator and what happens to people and so on. And I just was compiling all of this nonsensical stuff and everything from like the Lindsay Ellis situation to like kiwi farms and lol cows and all these other things.
See, this is why I stay off the internet. This is why
no, it's not good. It's a huge amount of bad things.
I'm not a YouTuber. That's why.
There's a whole section about
I don't know technology.
There's a whole section about Game Grumps and how they have 2 separate subreddits that are just about obsessing over hating them in different ways. Because there's Rant Grumps that's entirely about just being mad at them every day, all the time. And there's Conspiracy Grumps, which is entirely born from the part where JonTron left the show and just them trying to dig up dirt. I
remember that.
Yeah, and it's them just constantly trying to dig up dirt forever and ever and ever.
They hate each other, you can tell, because of all this stuff, and they have all these conspiracy theories about why they broke up, and it's like, get a life, guys.
And just how distressing this stuff is, just to be obsessing over these people and trying to dig up dirt to prove your narrative about how much you hate these people. And I'm like, it's one, these are weird online people that just need to move on with their lives and can't behave like this all the time. That's just distressing, bizarre behavior. But also, imagine being a content creator and trying to, exist day to day and, write a script or perform live and be funny and ha ha ha, while just, constantly trying to push back this, existential dread of that there's just, people watching you like a hawk and, hunting for moments to, go after you for at any given time because they just hate you and they make that their daily thing. That's elements of Game Grumps and Lindsay Ellis and a number of other people where it's just they're just oh, that's another moment I can add to this giant fucking Charlie Day fucking corkboard of all the things that I've been holding against you, and then all my fucking yarn. It's actually nightmarish. It's actually fucked up what happens when you just kind of become a a target that some community of people has decided is just free range. Like they're essentially like morally in the right, or it's just okay to just like treat you the way that people treat like Chris Chan or someone. Like the idea of like
you existing for the purpose of being entertainment.
Yeah, you're no longer a person, you're a thing that needs to be like documented and attacked all the time. Like I always get really concerned when someone says Chris Chan is the most documented person in the history of the world, and they just leave the thought there as without, like a neutral to positive thing, and not like a horrifying thing to say about someone who did not opt into being constantly surveilled and harassed and manipulated by online people while being like horribly neurodivergent and not in a good place. And like
I had the misfortune of trying to explain to a couple of my very, very well-adjusted friends who Chris Chan was. And I didn't even know where to start with that. I was like, well, and then I was like, the word lolcow came up, and I realized they didn't know what that meant. So I was like, okay, let's go backwards.
Welcome to you being the terminally online sounding person of the conversation. Well, and that's the thing is, I'm glad you guys don't know about this, but at the same time, it's like the fact. But I'm gonna ruin that.
The fact
that
I had to explain it made me seem like a fucking weirdo for just knowing shit like this, and I'm like, I'm just aware that this happens.
It puts it in perspective.
But I was like, I'm really sorry I had to explain that to you. This is once again a little bit off topic, but
we're incredibly off topic.
Well, I know.
This is just a weird episode in general because we're hunting for scraps of what might be different. So even the stuff we're reading is mostly just the same stuff we read before, and we're just podcasting.
Sorry, everyone, but I just want to leave on a comment of something that like had been brought up to me that I hadn't considered. But the fact that like with Chris Chan and his like anytime he's ever been in court, the jury has to be unbiased, so they can't be aware of who Chris Chan is. So every single time Chris Chan has been in court, because he's been in court at the years, like lots of times, there has to be an explanation as to who Chris Chan is every time they're in court. And the fact that a jury of different people every time has to hear the entire saga of Chris Chan and be explained to them, like this whole niche of internet living, that to me is fascinating. There's some grandma on that jury who just learned about what the internet's like from
it's also
being
such a long, convoluted, and I say this as somebody who hasn't even actually tried to sit through it at any point, but like
but you at least know
so
who
convoluted
Chris Chan
and involves so many other people, and the way that it's told often obfuscates everyone else's role and what they're doing to them, that like you have so much power in how you present that story from moment to moment that you could completely sway opinions about the entire situation. Because a lot of the ways that Chris Chan's story is told by people that like just like, I'm going to summarize some drama for YouTube and stuff, they often like they glance right past every time that anyone does anything to them, from all the online harassment and bizarre behaviors and manipulations and posing as a fake girlfriend and all those other weird fucked up shit.
The only person I ever listen to talk about Chris Chan whenever I get curious is Gino Samuel, only because there is absolutely no opinion in anything this person says. And that's the only reason, like the only person I will watch talk about it is this person, because there is not any hype or drama. And I think that's literally what the only thing this person does. And it is presented documentary
Even that's always really
style.
hard to judge, though. There's so much like...
It's just, this happened this day.
A lot of these people have like a lot of false neutrality.
Chris Chan posted this. On this day, this person responded this. This happened on this day. At this time, it is a narrative of just explaining like every post that's ever happened and every video that's ever happened. But like without... I mean, you can argue that like the excluding or including of things is like in itself a bias, but I don't get the impression that is considered. Or at least to the greatest extent.
When I see what people say when I see examples that people pose of unbiased sources on things, they're often just people who are monotone performatively, and that's not the same thing as being like unbiased or actually like inherently the very fact that you're even making this video is a statement in its own right. Like there's so much to get into about it, where like people have this. There's this reaction to things where it's like if somebody's emotional, then that, or they have any kind of affectation to their voice, then they're biased and they're pushing an agenda. But if they're dispassionate and flat and frankly just kind of boring and bad presenters, then it's like this idea that they're like this like true, proper, like objective source. And if you dig into those types of people, they're often like wildly off course.
No,
like they're
I
very selective about the information that they pose and so on.
But it's not even as if like if it was about anything else, I would argue that you might want like a presenter with more flair, or maybe even with an opinion. And granted, you can watch something like that and it's very easy to sort out those opinions. In something like this, or like whenever I'm curious about a situation or a person that I don't know a lot about, it's like I'll watch something and I'm very aware. I can tell by the way this person's speaking maybe how they feel about it. But what I really do want is just an affectationless, like a presentation of information. Almost, it could just be like a written essay, or just like without just I want like just a list of what happened that day, and that is why I watch. That is what I want from that specific situation. One
of the most alarming things sometimes is when one of these people uses kiwi farms as a source, and you're like, oh, this contextualizes this entire video. You're somebody who uses kiwi farms. This is your entire perspective on this entire thing, and your motivation for making this video is incredibly suspect all of a sudden. Like, was it like Down the Rabbit Hole? Frederick Knudsen will just like casually mention kiwi farms periodically throughout his channel as a source, completely like impartially, and then just blow past that with no further commentary. Like he didn't drop like a giant bomb on the video for anyone who knows what he's talking about and what kiwi farms is, and it makes me like it made me like, oh, I'm not comfortable watching any of your videos. This is actually distressing. Like you can't be using kiwi farms as a source, and you can't like use a harassment campaign website. You can't just like casually mention that without also every single time going at length like, and by the way, here's how fucked up kiwi farms is and why you should be worried about kiwi farms being in this story. It's like kiwi farms is just like this, like a character in this narrative that just popped by and they did this and that did it, and then they just blow right past, like it's not like a huge fucking massive alarm in the middle of the narrative like that they're involved. Like it's so surreal when somebody just like mentions something that insane and then just moves on without contextualizing what that even means, and like how that's like in any narrative that they're involved in, they're the villain. Like they're the villain of any narrative that they're involved in. But this video I'm making is about this person. And it's like, then isn't this video just essentially a guide on how to get caught up on the lore of a lol cow, so you can also then take part in the harassment that everyone else is doing? Like that seems like the functional purpose of this video, isn't it? Right, Mr. I use kiwi farms. Like, isn't that what you're doing? You're just essentially helping them, and like, what is the point of this guy? This is a living person
there are times
who's going
like,
through the situation right now.
But like narratively, like if there was like, let's say hypothetically, like there was a lol cow, and there was like an involvement with kiwi farms, and involvement from like, and maybe like a facet of Reddit, and it's not as if like you're using them as sources. It's just like this happened. Like kiwi farms said all this hateful shit. I mean, you usually can use context clues to figure out that they're evil.
But they don't do that. They don't tell people that, and then they will even say stuff like according to kiwi farms. Like,
oh, you can't say like that. You gotta be like on this, like, so
big red flag on this video and channel forever now. What the fuck?
The Geno Samuel one, it's like on this day somebody posted onto kiwi farms, and they give context as to what that is, and then it's like this person posted this, and then one of like Christian has this little group of like protectors who like respond to this, and they have a fight on like a Reddit, and like it is like shown, like that. It's not as if like, I mean, narratively, if it comes up, it has to come up but using it as a source, I guess, specifically, and saying it's a source would be different than being like, this happened on this day at this time on Kiwi Farms, the website.
For some reason, it feels like the equivalent of like casually bringing up like the leader of the Proud Boys or something like that, and not explaining who the Proud Boys are and and what that person's done, but just be like, oh yeah, they said this, and anyway, and you're like, wait, no, you can't just introduce that person to the narrative for 5 seconds and not acknowledge like who they are and what that actually means. That's like horrifying. But anyway, I don't know what this video is. This is a weird episode.
Guys. My dog's sitting here enjoying a good scratch, not thinking about all the horrors of the internet, and just living her good dog life.
It's just part of the fear of trying to go back and recap trying to go back and check the alternate stuff in some of these routes. Sometimes it's just like, I don't know if we'll find meat, but we will end up talking anyway. And then I'm like, well, I got to keep this, right? Because there's like
you can cut any of that out if you want to.
But there's like a video. It's like that's like the conversation's the point half the time. It's just usually there's also stuff happening.
Is stuff happening?
Usually. The bonus things, this is why I try to stick to the main routes, though. Anyway, anime night. You had to mention Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I can't believe that's where this started.
It is where this started. I actually forgot. Blood on the Tracks is really good.
Anyway.
You should read it.
Jenna smiles again, and I can see the little tips of her tiny fangs.
Like a little vampire.
She shifts in her seat, leaning her head back against the sofa to stare at the spinning fan above.
I have a question for you, Chase.
Oh?
This doesn't have anything to do with our previous conversation, but...
What a coincidence.
When you came out of the closet to me, Leo snatched you up within, what, a couple hours? You had a boyfriend right from the get-go. Something not many rural gay boys can say the same to. If it wasn't Leo, and you had a choice, presuming they were all consenting.
My eyes start to widen some as I begin to realize what she's asking.
If you could have been with anyone else in the group, as in not Leo, who would you have chosen?
Oh.
Wow, she's really direct this time.
Oh. I'm reminded of Flynn's words at the river about viewing the reunion as a chance to pick and choose who I always wanted to sleep with.
Why does Jenna... Like, why does it have to be a part of the group? Why can't you just be like, if you didn't pick Leo, who in all the people you knew would you have picked?
You're surrounded by all these boys.
Instead, it's like you have to be one of these 5 people. Like,
yeah.
Way to narrow it down.
The question's so out of left field that it must have been something that had been on Jenna's mind for a while. But why? She's a shipper! She's shipping us!
She's like, the reason I'm asking is I'm writing this manga.
Toxic AF! Real life shipping.
Dude, this is like in high school, middle school. Kids are always doing this shit. Usually it's girls. They're like, oh my gosh, who likes who? What, like who do you like? They're always like asking, who do you like? Can you just like no one?
Give me a second with that one, alright? I probably push myself to my feet and immediately feel my ass tingle. I guess I've been sitting on my tail again without even noticing.
That would be hard to avoid.
I'm gonna make some coffee. You want any?
Decaf, please. I'd like to actually get some sleep soon.
That's probably a good idea. The idea of searching all day on only a few hours of rest is sounding less and less appealing the more I think about it. I make my way to the kitchen and begin changing out the filter, Leo having left most of the stuff still running from earlier.
So, what's your answer?
I look to the living room, seeing Jenna with her arms crossed over the back of the sofa, peering at me with her chin on her wrists. Refocusing on the coffee, it appears the only decaf flavor they have is... birthday cake? What?
Have you never heard of flavored coffees before?
That's just so outside of the range of acceptable flavors that a coffee can taste like. I'm like, how much are you putting in to get, like, how much not coffee is in here to make it taste like birthday cake in any way, right?
No, I think that's a pretty, like, you have, like, donut, you have, like,
I guess I've never had it before. I guess I've had
raspberry,
I guess I've had peppermint
blueberry,
coffee.
Peppermint.
Because of the Christmas thing that at Starbucks. But I always just assume that just means that they're just drowning it in flavoring.
Well, that's a flavor shot. That's different usually. But they do sell, like, flavored coffees. Most people who really like coffee tell you it's, like, the biggest sin of all time.
Yeah. I examined the little container, spinning it around in my fingers. It's got a picture of a bright blue cake on it with sprinkles everywhere.
Ew.
It's like the K-cups you can get of, like, the breakfast mix from Dunkin'.
I love Dunkin'.
Jenna, I'm not sure you're going to want the flavor they've got.
Show me.
I held up the mini container, about to walk back to the living room when she speaks.
Birthday cake. It's an interesting ice cream flavor, but a coffee?
Team Jenna, let's go. You can see that from all the way back there in the dark? Jenna rolls her eyes.
I'm a fox, Chase. Ooh, I'm a fox. You could probably see that neon blue cake picture from back here, too.
So, are we nixing the coffee idea? He's trying so hard not to answer the question.
So, what's your favorite color? What kind of cake do you like?
Yeah, is it TJ flavored?
Your stalling tactic? Yes, she calls him out.
I shrug, nonchalantly trying to rub the circulation back into my tail.
I'll try it. Could be good.
Really?
Hey, I like sweet things sometimes.
Like you.
Hee hee hee. As you were saying.
I sigh, setting up the coffee maker with the special delectable infusion blend. Oh boy.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Oh no.
When I remembered that we hadn't played as Gay Chase before, and we should probably check that out, I joked with you at the time, like, are we gonna talk about boys?
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what's happening.
See, I thought back when Keith said that, I thought that him and I were gonna talk about boys, and I was like, we always talk about boys.
I mean, we'll do all of them, I'm sure.
Why is there not an answer for all of them?
God, they are all better options than Leo.
Well, so Flynn. I mean, he's
although
the only...
we still don't know about. We don't know all of TJ and Flynn's baggage entirely because we still haven't played their routes. But Flynn has been like rocketing skyward. Flynn's stock has been on the rise.
It has been
for
on
the last
the rise.
3 routes.
It has been on the rise.
And Carl just never actually had that deep of. Carl has very regular, normal people flaws.
Well, yeah,
like anxiety and stuff. Like he did not. Going through Carl's route, we did not experience deep Carl darkness that needed to be unpacked. He's just a sad boy.
Yeah, he's just your average run of the mill like sad boy who feels unmotivated. And
I'm the one who likes TJ. You hate TJ.
I wouldn't. TJ's too innocent. I feel bad. I could not fuck TJ. TJ's a baby.
He's a baby. You view him like Jenna views him, basically.
I can't help that.
TJ is an adult man.
I have. It's like I have like little siblings, so I can't. Like when I'm like, no, I can't. No.
He's like what? He's like 21 now.
He's basically asexual to me.
Everyone's like 21 to 23, I think, or something.
You might as well be asking me about like a kitten or like a teddy bear or something. It's like I feel nothing for this. But who knows? Maybe we'll play his route and he'll be like real sexy.
TJ is a college athlete.
Yeah, but he's like, what does he do again? Is he a runner? No, what does he do?
I think,
he's not the beefy kind of college athlete. He's like the gymnast kind of college athlete.
He's
not my type.
That's a kind of, I mean, they're cut.
That's not my type. They're too little.
They're too little?
Yeah.
He's just a small boy. He's very fast, though.
I'd beat TJ up.
He will last seconds. Speed run.
Yeah, so extra reason to not pick TJ. I would like step on TJ and make him cry if that was like his fetish, but I wouldn't want to fuck him. And then I'd laugh at him for that, and then he'd pay me more money.
Out of the 3 of these
Flynn,
characters, I imagine Flynn has a lot going on.
He cooks fish.
Flynn is like hatefully supportive.
But the word supportive is still there.
Yes. Like he's been going out of his way. Like, this is a friend group where no one's a friend.
Yeah,
except
no, they all
Flynn
fucking
and
hate
Carl.
each other.
Like Flynn and Carl, like that's the big thing about like what's so damning about the birthday party, even in Carl's route, is that like we don't get Carl a birthday party gift because we're like with him the whole time. So Leo gets our gift for him. So Leo gets 2 gifts for Carl, and they're both bad. Mm-hmm. Even though they've been in the same town this whole time while we were gone.
Yeah.
Like, he talks about our old friend group being so important, but he literally ignored Carl the entire time he was gone. He doesn't give a fuck about Carl. He's just pretending. Like, that's the most damning thing about that scene that people don't always seem to get. Because
and he gave him like a one of those college headbands, which made Carl feel really shitty about himself because he didn't go to college. Like, that was almost a purposefully mean gift.
There's a lot of mess there. Well, so he dropped out of college specifically because of his anxiety.
Yeah, but he gave him like the college that he dropped out of as like a headband, which is really fucking mean to do for someone who dropped out of anxiety.
But like I like all these characters. I think being in a relationship with Carl would only enable bad tendencies, not because he is a bad person, but because he has like the same problems I do. Well, that's like comorbid at some point.
Carl and Flynn, I ship that because like Flynn would kick
yeah.
Carl into shape and be like, get your fucking ass out of bed and go do your job thing. And Carl would probably feel better having done it. But he just needs someone to make him do it. And then once he gets started, you feel better. At least that's how I do when I get stuck. Like, if I get stuck, if I just get myself to do one thing, I can kind of, like, crawl to the next thing. And then eventually it feels a little bit better.
My mixed feelings is that the vibes I get from them so far is that Flynn is somebody who is supportive, but also in a way where they kind of enable you to continue down the shitty things you do. Because he seems to just endlessly have patience and tolerance for Carl's bullshit, even though it's like Carl's no Leo, so it's not like a nightmare or anything, but like Carl has not improved over the last like 3 years of Flynn kind of babying him.
Oh, that is true.
But he just cares enough to like look out for him, but in a way that doesn't go anywhere. Whereas on some level, I feel like TJ is a character that might push you at like to actually like it might actually like push you out of your comfort zone a bit and like actually like get you into different positions in a way that Jenna also might, but Jenna's kind of an awful person. Jenna's like really it's so hard to like Jenna at this point after the route we just went through, where you're like, wow, I'm glad you got like Jenna is so self-sufficient that she got herself together, that she's just like malicious towards everyone else who hasn't, and it's like uncomfortable.
It's a bummer to me because I feel like she would hurt my feelings, and I'm scared of girls like that. Yeah. But also I think of all the people I think she's the cutest. But like, so I'm a little bit sad that I can't love her now because she was fucking really mean.
Yeah. I think I just want TJ to push me to go on
new favorite.
I think I just want TJ to push me to go on hiking trips.
That could be cute.
Like, let's go on adventures.
TJ could be wifey material.
You go on adventures like because your boyfriend likes it. And then you're like, well, I actually like it too, but I also like them. Yeah. Carl is a horrible boyfriend for several reasons, and it's not because he's a bad person.
You just want to like stay in and play video games and like smoke pot.
What if we just both have anxiety and don't go anywhere forever?
Honestly, I would love to sit and play video games and smoke pot, but not for every day.
I think anxiety boyfriends shouldn't mix. Like if you're only gonna stay in and never do anything and be afraid of the world, then you might not want to be paired with someone who's exactly the same way. And then you just like
let's stay inside. Good idea. Yeah. And then nothing ever changes.
People just find your bodies one day, years after you died.
Nobody knew that you died.
Anyway,
okay, so which one are we gonna try first?
Should we just do them in order? I guess.
Okay.
Because we have like. I think we have like equally canceling out opinions of all of them, but also vaguely positive opinions about all of them, basically. They're all good alternatives, honestly.
To Leo.
Yeah. It's like I said before, like Chase fucked up too, and overall these two characters just desperately need to never see each other again. In fact, most of these characters would be best off if they all left Echo and also never spoke again to each other.
Yeah.
Like they all need to start over like Jenna did for good.
Yeah, Jenna.
Like desperately.
Actually leave this time.
I guess I'd always had a bit of a crush on TJ. Jenna looks out a humored noise.
Like this. Really now. That's interesting, Chase. I didn't think you had it in you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, he's much smaller than you are, and I always figured with how you and Leo acted, you appreciate someone larger than you.
I feel my cheeks begin to burn at the implication-laden last few words. Implication-laden, there we go. Good emphasis on the syllables.
Samanda.
Coffee begins to slowly drip from the coffee maker.
Also, as I recall, his faith often made you uncomfortable. If you were dating him, I imagine that might be quite the hurdle for you to overcome. You could barely stand carpooling with him and his family, if I recall.
That was when I was really young, and that anti-religious thing I was kind of putting on for Leo.
Leo was religious.
His family is religious.
Oh, okay. I remember that phase. One day Leo shows up on the bus with a handful of internet printouts of Catholic Church scandals.
She waves her paw dismissively, turning her head some to peer out the window. It's still dark out from this view, the window facing east and not getting any sunlight. With Regards to what you said before. This may sound cliche, but size doesn't really matter to me. TJ's just really cute. Being around him just makes me smile. And that's the sort of energy I guess I could really use. Remember when we all played soccer and we bonded with Kudzu and TJ and then Leo ruined it with...
Yeah, too bad we couldn't answer Kudzu to this question.
Yeah, because we don't know he exists. We also basically don't... I don't think we even know Micah yet. Oh, we kind of know Micah.
Yeah, he should have.
From a distance.
Yeah.
Jenna looks back, lifting her head enough to give me a respectful nod.
That's very sweet, Chase. TJ messaged me a fair amount last week about being excited to spend time with you again. He really does like you.
She pauses.
Though perhaps not in the same respect of what you're wanting.
Wanting hypothetically.
Of course.
We still have no idea. We have not gotten a single hint so far that TJ could even be gay.
Yeah.
Out of all the characters.
Yeah. He's the one that's putting out the least amount of gay energy, because at least Carl mentioned his Fudanari girlfriend with the big dick.
Then he just got really cuddly over the course of the route.
Yeah, but even without that, even without that context, I guess we're only talking in context. I don't know.
After a couple kind of awkward minutes, the coffee is finally ready. The sun has started to peek through and paint the previously dark violet sky with more orangey hues. Blue just beyond the horizon. Orange sunrises are kind of rare around here, so there must have been a dust storm or hard rain somewhere down eastward.
Or pollution.
Yay!
That's what we see here in California.
Our sky is poison.
Our sky is beautiful because it's poisoned.
Like tiny daggers up raining from heaven. I don't remember the shit. I don't know. My Chemical Romance lyrics. I was almost there. I think I got it wrong.
I was thinking of Bob Dylan.
No.
Hard rain's gonna fall.
Jenna and I slump back into the nice leather sofas and lull our eyes, sipping on the abrasively sugary coffee. I'm not really too keen on this stuff, but Jenna seems to be warming up to it. So they did stay up, I guess. She mumbles something about it reminding her of birthday parties at Leo's. I'm only half paying attention as I lay back and rest my head on one of Carl's silken throw pillows. Everything just kind of fades away. Oh, and they fall asleep after the sunrise.
We didn't even watch anime in this one.
Maybe we were watching anime? And I skipped over it. Oh, is this the van scene?
No, the van scene's when you're at the hotel.
No scene.
I think that just happened the last time too. I think it just happens, and it's just
is that the skip button?
Just foreshadowing.
Get shamed for our choice in Leo and TJ. What I find interesting is whether or not each of them will echo the thought process we had, because the funniest thing to me about we didn't really comment on religion, but besides that, the conversation that Jenna and Chase had about TJ was almost the same one that we had about TJ.
Yeah.
Which is an eerie thing that happens throughout this game. Carl was my best friend, and I think we would have worked well together.
Another.
Jenna lets out a humored noise. All she does is judges our faves.
Carl, truly?
Yeah. What's so wrong about that? Jenna quickly shakes her head.
Not wrong, of course. It's just surprising. You seemed to get annoyed with him quite a bit in the old days, back when he was a little more excitable. I'm
going to be judging the fuck out of Jenna if she also says that Flynn is surprising, because then she posed a question where every answer is surprising and there was only 3 options. She's wanted to get
a good laugh tonight. She's going to laugh no matter what you said.
Yeah, like watch. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I didn't like him. Coffee begins to slowly drip from the coffee maker. I mean, we're literally best friends, of course. He's mellowed out a lot since then. Plus, he's been working out.
Oh, and here I was talking about past tense. Yeah, she caught you. I was going to say you were talking about now.
Oh, was it supposed to be back then?
Well, no, you just said he's been working out lately. Like, you made a comment on how he looks currently.
The hypothetical is supposed to be about if we went back in time. Huh?
Yeah.
Not which one we'd date now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird a little bit.
Like, who would you have picked if you didn't pick Leo?
TJ was so much younger back then.
I mean, so were we.
Yeah. But contextually, I was thinking about everyone being like 21.
No, I mean, all of these are... Like, you're talking about...
Because that's the characters we actually know. Everyone else could have
picked someone.
Everyone else went for Leo. 5 minutes in Route 65.
Dude, that little ghost costume really just turned me on.
No.
My mom dropped me off.
Ooh.
No. Yeah, no.
No, right
no.
out. Hard no.
I like TJ in the game we actually played, where he's actually had screen time for more than 30 seconds.
I was in a ghost costume, and my mom dropped me off, and then I got hit, and I cried.
Goo goo gaga.
And I was never seen again.
She smiles wryly, turning her head some to peer out the window. It's still dark out from this view, the window facing east, not getting any sunlight. I sigh, shaking my head as I feel a familiar burning sensation in my cheeks. He's always been a really chill guy to hang out with, and we almost always manage to have a lot of fun together. I know he's going through some stuff, obviously, because he's literally missing, but he's still cool. Jenna looks back, lifting her head enough to give me a respectful nod.
It's very sweet, Chase. And you have a blatant fetish for hooves.
What? I gawp at her, waiting for the just kidding.
I see you staring at them when we're all hanging out all the time. It's fine, Chase. It's a perfectly natural thing to be attracted to. The strange and different can be titillating.
How do you get attracted to hooves?
How do you get attracted to feet?
But like hooves are just like a weird, hard, like kind of sharp
They're
nightmare
shiny.
thing. Like, I just, I'm just imagine like how
feet
do you,
are nightmare things.
How do you? But like, I'm just thinking like texturally, like how are you enjoying hooves being involved?
I'm not shaming people who like feet, by the way. That's totally fine. Like, there's no issue with that. I just don't relate to it.
I know what foot people get up to, and that's not a hoof option. You can't get up to that. Those are dangerous objects.
Clack clack.
They're horribly shaped. They're like sharp, kind of. Like, there's nothing fun about. Like, what the fuck do you do with that?
That is a good point.
Like, I don't understand
For
how
that
you can
purpose,
I don't understand how
yeah.
you can fetishize hooves. It's strange. Like horns, if you want to go and like making shit up here, like horns are like a handle.
Well, yeah.
There's play to be had there.
You can do things with horns.
What the fuck do you do with hooves?
Well,
that's a nightmare.
What if they're like his? Okay, so hear me out. I don't know. They probably show it. So this makes no sense. But I'm thinking of like a really kind of weird scenario in which his feet are like his hands, where they're flesh, but the ends are the little hooves.
Oh. I forgot about Carl's nightmare hands, where he kind of has like clacky, like
his little claw hands.
His like fingertips are like made of wood, essentially.
Yeah.
Like he has like doll hands.
See, that already seems bad for things.
Yeah, but no, I imagine that his feet are literally just like,
you gotta sand them down.
I imagine he's
activities.
Like a satyr, like he just has like straight up hooves down.
I'm sure
there.
he does, but I'm just thinking, what if?
It is funny because I think
feet with little toenails.
I think we never see his feet in any context. Like. This goes back to the Amicus problem, where I was trying to figure out if he was digitigrade or plantigrade, because it's so hard to see his feet anywhere, and when you do, he's like laying down, which is specifically when it's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, visual novel characters, their sprites literally don't have feet, and even their CGs, like when Carl's CGs are of him being under a sheet, and of him climbing a tree, and you see his belly. And his feet aren't in that one either. So the question is whether or not his feet are in the beanbag snuggle. That's your only chance. That's your only chance to find out.
I want to say, well, what about? Because he's in the because you're right. He's in the truck bed.
Yeah, we'll have to check after this conversation because I need to.
I really do think they're normal hooves. I can like picture them in my brain, and I'm pretty sure they are. I was thinking of nightmarish stuff. So.
Yeah. Let's see. I can probably Google it. Echo Carl.
You might find a lot of other art that might be.
I'm searching Echo Carl CG because that's my best chance. That does not look full resolution. I don't think I can trust these. I'm getting them in the bed, but that's definitely cropped. That is definitely cropped. It was definitely more zoomed out originally. Yeah, I'd have to search for it in the game's menus, but we're in the middle of this, so later maybe. I don't believe this. Does she actually think I'm some kind of hoof fetishist? This is absolutely not true. I mean, if anything, I'd go for the horns, right?
Yeah, wow, that's funny how we just talked about that. Do these writers really know us or what?
Hell, Carl's were so naturally big. He had to have surgery for them. There's a big taboo about touching a ram's horns. So it always made them kind of forbidden in a kind of salacious way.
Like titties, dude. Like titties.
like head titties.
Whoa.
Whoa.
They're always out in the open, man.
Whoa.
Whatever you say, Chase.
Wow, man, why are your horns so slender? For other men to grab them? Whore.
Yeah, why are they like perfect hand size, huh? Did you mold them just for me?
What a dumb meme. I make a show of disgruntled grumbling, loud enough that she can hear me from across the room.
In earnest, that's really cute that you like Carl. You can tell from what we saw on his desktop that he's pretty fond of you and the time you spent with him. And I promise I won't tell him about what you've told me here when he does turn up.
I assume that last bit was a given?
Mm-hmm. That hoof fetish thing, though, that's fair game, of course.
Jenna. She holds up the flat of her paws, looking at me with this sleepy, innocent expression.
Though I could be persuaded to keep such information in confidence. Do you still have some of that oatmeal with the little sugary dinosaur eggs in it at the motel? Did dino eggs oatmeal?
Yeah. Jenna just smiles lightly at me, her tired, impish expression cute, if it weren't for the fact that it's all at my expense. You can have some, I guess. I mean, if we find Carl. Otherwise, it's kind of a moot point.
Great. And don't worry, we'll find your future boyfriend.
Future boyfriend? For some reason, the thought of that sends a weird, tingly sensation down my spine. Aww. It's not really something I want to put too much extended thought to, with him missing and me leaving at the end of the week, though.
You know, I really like the mixing in applesauce when I make it.
What?
he's like zoning out, thinking about other things. She's like, applesauce. The oatmeal.
Huh. I just put a bit of milk in it. I don't have that. If I don't have that, I just use some more water.
I don't even like oatmeal.
Yeah, I don't like oatmeal at all.
The texture really weirds me out.
Yup. It's unpleasant, and also it's never tasted good. I don't understand how it supposedly ever tastes good. When do we have to leave? So we're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, our movie's at 4.
At 4 o'clock exactly?
Yeah.
So we need to be gone by like 10 minutes from now.
Probably.
Let's finish Flynn real quick. Jenna lets out a long sigh. She opens her mouth to say something, stops, then begins to speak again.
You're referring to teenage Flynn, not right now Flynn, correct?
I shrug. In general, I guess? Okay, so even they're blurring the lines.
Even after what he said at the river? He not only called you a slut, but a boring one at that? You like him right now? Are you sure?
I am cheating a bit. Because I'm talking about what we know about so far about every character across multiple timelines. Yeah,
we know more than the average person would. We know more than Jenna does.
Flynn is not... Flynn's redemption moment in this route happens tomorrow.
And we both know at least one of those things isn't true. I'll let you pick which one.
Because Chase is not a slut. He's just boring. Coffee begins to slowly drip from the coffee maker. Thank you, Jenna, for the continued words of confidence. I'll be sure to hire you for my continued therapy sessions down the line. She smiles briefly, turning her head some to peer out the window. It's still dark out from this view, the window facing east and not getting any sunlight. I sigh, shaking my head some as I feel a familiar burning sensation in my cheeks.
But seriously, why though?
It's a simple enough question, but for some reason I'm having trouble forming the words to answer. Is it the no-nonsense attitude, the fierce pragmatism, the dark sense of humor? Or is it the fact that he's a 6'7" predator with a venomous bite and a lurid stare?
Ooh, I think it's that one.
He's 6'7"?
Ooh, that's cool.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not a height. I don't care about height very much. I've definitely dated people that were shorter than me. I've dated guys that were shorter than me too. Like, not just girls. Because I'm pretty tall in general for a girl. I can't expect most girls to be taller than me. But anyways, 6'7"'s like not, it's so abnormal that it's now kinky. So
that sentence just made Chase a monster fucker.
That would make me a monster fucker.
All I managed to say is he's gay, fair. Yeah, on some level, he's the only character that is actually gay.
What it said in the
options.
Yeah, it was like, oh, he's the only one that's gay.
Yeah.
Really? That's it?
I shrug my shoulders. Jenna looks back to me, waving her hand dismissively. That's the whole conversation.
We dismiss it. It's just not gonna happen.
It's like, the skip button is lit up, right? Yeah, that's the whole conversation. Why Flynn? He's
gay.
Gay?
He would like me back?
Yeah, like physically. I glance over at Jenna, the fennec curled up into herself on the other side of the couch. She's cradling a throw pillow against her chest. With a small grunt, I managed to move my limbs without too much trouble. No sleep paralysis this time, thankfully. Jenna's eyes flutter open. She blinks at her surroundings, then me, then the sound coming from the entrance hall.
Ugh.
She rubs her face, trying to shake off the sleep fatigue.
What'd you say?
There's some chattering noise from the kitchen coming from the kitchen coming from the kitchen. Okay, I'm not crazy.
Okay, yeah.
Like the rustling of plastic bags and the clacking of Tupperware. I asked if you fuckers have been having fun. It's midday.
Flynn, you got our texts. We were up late last night searching for Carl.
Yeah, and making yourself at home here.
Last time he caught us right after we fucked.
That's real awkward. What do you got over there, hentai? I learned about it once from a joke on TV.
I don't know anything about it.
Ever.
No.
I checked the TV. It's frozen on a guide message screen. On a guide menu screen grab of a frantic anime girl holding up more bowls of soup than is ordinarily considered reasonable. I grab the remote and turn it off. Jenna yawns into her paw, setting the pillow down beside her and idly fixing her slightly smooshed head fur. Her expression and general demeanor is visibly distracted, but not by Flynn or by me. Though she does manage a quick smile in my direction when she does focus her gaze my way. I return the smile, albeit lopsidedly. Half my face still feels tingly and asleep. And that's it. They didn't fuck. It's the absence of fucko. I mean, I'm an adult now, so I shrugged most of it off.
Still, he shouldn't be treating you like that. We're all adults now.
Yeah, why can't he just drop $75,000 on a college degree that teaches you saying slurs is bad like a normal person? Jenna gives Flynn some side eye. That's the entire divergence. Yeah, in the time.
Yeah.
I step outside into the cool air, letting my feet rest on the hard asphalt of the parking lot. That's the entire line. That's just there's no Jenna scene outside before Micah.
Like I said, it's really just the absence.
Yeah, but we got to talking about boys scenes. Now I'm like, what else is there? Oh no, that was the sound of Samuel dying.
Snap.
Just point that at every round. I didn't expect to revisit this many times.
Yeah, we've been through it like 3 times.
It's our
already.
third time hearing his head break. Jesus Christ! What a specific not. It's like a stock sound too. But it's just knowing its significance every time. Like, oh, yeah, that was upsetting.
Yeah, you forget about it, and then you hear it, and you're like, oh yeah.
It takes me a minute to get control of my limbs again. Then I turn my head to the side. I see Jenna sound asleep beside me. I had meant to talk to her about stuff on mind last night, but she fell asleep pretty quickly. She looks pretty peaceful, all things considered. It's such a contrast to the dream from the night before, the details of which are already starting to fade, but some of the imagery remains. The van, the albino getting hit, the tarantulas in the back, the tall figure that was watching on the hill. It hurts to think about. I reach out a paw and gingerly nudge Jenna's shoulder. Hey, you awake? They still slept together? Jenna's whiskers twitch. She must not be as asleep as I thought, because she makes a little grunt as I nudge her again. Her eyes open a crack, and she smiles as she sees me looking back at her.
Hey.
Hey. Why did they still sleep in the same bed, I wonder?
It's a platonic... Like...
It's like, fuck you, TJ. I only said I liked you in the other route.
No,
we're in the Flynn timeline now.
No, people do this. I think it's weird. But I'm also, like I said,
Well, he specifically switched from sleeping in TJ's bed to Jenna's bed in this route. That's the context of them being in this motel together. The three of them are sharing a motel with 2 beds. And he specifically shifted to Jenna's bed, but when they're not like, as far as I know, doing anything.
Yeah, some people just, I don't know. I used to have a gay male friend who was very, very much actually gay. Like, he wasn't pretending to be gay or anything, but he would always like be really cuddly and like huggy and weird and stuff, and I always thought that was weird. Like, I felt weird about that still.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I'm just heightened in my sensitivities to things.
Boop. I boop her on the nose with my paw once and can hear her tail thwap beneath the covers happily. Looking graceful today.
Truly?
She blinks. I think he said like beautiful or something more flirty before. She blinks once.
Wait, why are you in my bed? Dude.
She questions back with a raised brow, stretching her arms above her and yawning. I was trying to talk to you more about the Micah thing, and you just sort of closed your eyes and fell asleep. Just like most of my boyfriends. I did the same.
Huh. Well, we all got the gist of it. I'm sorry. Just been really tired lately. I'm gonna be so behind on my work for college, it's not even funny. I hate cramming. She
squints at me for a moment.
You have sleep crusties in your eyes.
I blink. Oh, well, I just woke up. That's probably why. I rub my eyes quickly. She lets out a little laugh.
You sleep okay? Dream any more about Flynn holding you in his big scaly arms? Oh.
Wait, does she call us out here about everything choice you picked in the other one?
We might have to go back.
That's damn, I should have made a save back at that choice.
What the fuck were you thinking?
I didn't realize what we were getting ourselves into. This is so convoluted. Covering visual novels is hard. I cover my face with my paw, regretting telling her all this personal crush stuff already. To be honest, I kind of want to be the big spoon with him.
Dude, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. He's tall.
You just want to hold on to all that man.
But he's got a big old tail. Where do you put your body? Do you sit on top of the tail?
You just got to straddle the tail.
Straddle the tail?
You got to straddle it. There's a lot of weight. A lot of space. He's 6'8", 6'7". I took a few tries to remember the numbers right. You can straddle the tail and still be like under chest in height. Like there's so much of him.
Dude, that'd be like, instead of using one of those pillows to separate your knees, you could just use his tail instead. Because, you know, people sleep that way, where they put a pillow between their legs.
I'm just worried about the texture of the tail. Is it like, if it's like Gatory, then they got like fucking like knives sticking out of it. Like, not literally, but like it's like
the ones that point straight up that will just pierce your dick.
Just big, uncomfortable scales.
Gilas don't have those. They also don't have a mohawk either. So
yeah, I'm just asking: is he like snake smooth, or is it like
I hope he's
there's like an obstacle
smooth.
here. I want to be the big spoon. But that's not something I really want to talk about
then
right now.
Why the fuck did you bring it up?
We're gonna have to come back after the movie someday in the future and just finish the variations of this, apparently.
Understood. But in all seriousness, did you sleep okay?
Her expression reads as genuine concern for some reason. I debate just saying yeah and leaving it at that, but last night's dream felt so particularly bizarre it'd feel wrong not to mention. I shrug. More weird dreams. Yeah. This is not new, but it's ranked as new. You're not that ugly.
Yeah, she said that to us last time too.
Yeah. I'm being negged. Hi, gunk. I'm gonna wipe it on you.
Yeah,
Gross.
and I got grossed out by it, but I remember getting grossed out by that.
And then she dreams about her grandmother. I think this is still all old. Of what? Oh, the children's books. Yeah, the I Spy situation. And the dragon story. The dragon story was there before too, right? Yeah. This is going for a while, but I think it's still all... She talks about dreams being something you can try to analyze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks, Carl Jung.
Oh, yeah. If I had longer arms, I'd grab it for you.
Oh, such a gentleman. Shame you're gay.
Wait, what? Jenna winks at me once, grabbing the phone with a little irk. She taps away at the screen for a moment before looking at me.
Gonna meet with TJ down at the diner for blah 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 blah. Eggs and eggs and eggs and eggs and hash browns. I love hash browns.
I think that's it. So there was a little more comment about being gay. I was like, is anything else going to come up in this, or? All right, we're gonna have to. This is such a fucking monster episode. I'll have to stitch together and figure out what to make of later in editing.
Sorry,
we're gonna go watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish finally, which sounds very late because this episode's gonna come up like a month from now. But no, we really are late though. It's like late February when we're finally watching this movie that I thought was out of theaters. I took way too long. Shocking.
We'll come back with a whole review.
This is the 4-hour episode of Echo. We're back. We watched the Puss in Boots.
We did.
I cried for like half an hour of the movie.
Did you?
Just continually, yeah.
Wait, when?
I think it started in the Three Bears house. And then just there was another thing every like minute or so after that for the rest of the film. Like it was just consistently.
Dude, I was crying too.
Yeah, you didn't.
But that's not really
see
surprising.
me having to like take my glasses off to like wipe my eyes with my arm and shit like that. I was a disaster.
I saw that and I was like, it passed my brain that maybe that was happening, but it didn't register.
No, the entire last third of that movie is full of so much devastating emotional sincerity that like it was just constantly hitting me over and over again.
I started crying a little bit earlier with the part where he pets the dog because I just started thinking about the selflessness of dogs and I just started crying.
Oh yeah, that scene's brutal. It's just that it was already a viral thing on Twitter a bit they're like, oh, go watch Puss in Boots if you want to see a compassionate or realistic take on an anxiety attack or a panic attack or whatever. It was like the tweet. And then people were clowning on that. It's like, I'm going to go watch Puss in Boots for a sincere take on a panic attack. Like, because that's just a weird...
That is a weird...
Like, it's like... I get where they're coming from. It's a cool thing to put in a movie, and like it was well like rendered.
But without
and everything.
context, it's actually really funny.
It's a really weird thing to say about a kid's movie, though. Like as that being like as if it's the draw. Like, oh, I can't wait to see a cool panic attack.
Can't wait to see the character that I love and grew up with have a panic attack.
So I'd already seen that scene before, so that one wasn't a surprise for me. But there was a lot of like. Just like rough moments where it's just like, oh no, someone's just bearing their heart again about something.
Well, and then I was like, well, I'm not gonna spoil anything.
It was very entertaining all the way through. But great movie.
Yes.
And Lobo the wolf is terrifying.
Yeah, no, I heard little kids had to leave the theater, and when I first saw him show up, I was like, okay, that checks out. Like I get what scares little kids, and I'm like, this scary character seems like he has actual stakes in terms of causing horrible things, and he looks intense.
He's incredibly intimidating for his entire intro scene, and like I think roughest of all is the first time he shows up after his intro scene is like incredibly menacing, like as this would be one of those nightmare characters if I was a kid right now. Like this would be alongside like the decapitation puppets from the Labyrinth and the Skeksis and a bunch of other things that were distressing when I was young.
Yeah, I kind of forget that I don't know if I even count Labyrinth and like the Dark Crystal as being like kids movies, but I guess they were.
Yeah,
I watched them as a kid.
They don't look like kids movies, but they also like that's where they fit, I guess. I love the Dark Crystal. It's my favorite movie. It's incredible.
It is incredible.
But anyway, we're back here because last time when we had that thing where they commented again on how we want to be held by Flynn.
Scaly arms.
And now, of course, we got to go back and pick the other two options and see if Jenna makes fun of us for them too. So
let's see what she has to say if we pick Carl.
The Carl option and then hold skip for a bit until it stops us again.
I love all the weird sounds when it goes fast.
Did I remember to save?
Oh, fucking! Did you? I don't
remember. We talked about something else for like half an hour since I set up.
I know you're missing Carl and all, especially after what you told me the other night. I still can't get over the fact that you have a crush on him. I always sort of figured he was someone you only ever really considered as a friend.
I covered my face with my paw, regretting telling her all this personal crush stuff already. Hey, you give me like 3 options and I chose the least worst one, which in my mind is Carl. But that's not something I really want to talk about right now.
Understood.
Did I save? Yes, I think I did. I had the thought just late enough in the fast forward process where I'm like, it's impossible to go back now. I don't think the rewind button will even go that far back, but I'd have to press it once for every individual line.
Oh no.
So it'd basically be faster to start the route over again, which we already did today because I didn't have a save either.
Real professional.
TJ. It's funny that it's just funny that she's just going after him still days later and he has to like defend the logic behind his dumb
Dude, I miss being able to tease my friends about who they had crushes on. Like, it's not something that comes up anymore.
R.I.P. Samuel.
So, was it the 5th time we've heard it now?
We just keep looping that part.
Samuel's like, why?
Would you like trauma? You're only going in circles. Stop.
Stop, it hurts.
Stop going in circles.
You're just running me over in circles over and over again.
It's really dark.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't crawl back into bed with TJ after what you told me. I'm sure he would mind some platonic cuddling. He wouldn't mind, I'm sure. I'm sure he wouldn't mind some platonic cuddling. I think that was a typo.
Yeah. She teases me with a wry expression and I feel my face burn hot. This is even more pointed because it's like, hey, why aren't you sharing a bed with TJ tonight?
Like, it's literally open. Yeah.
It's way too early in the morning for this kind of thing. I cover my face with my paw, regretting telling her all this personal crush stuff already. I wouldn't want to take advantage of him like that.
See, he's a baby.
But that's not something I really want to talk about right now.
Understood.
Check your phone, audience. That was a message from me to you.
It says, I love you.
It just says discourse. Oh. Hi.
Gosh, why do I have to see this again? I forgot about this.
It has to animate normally, so
oh.
And there's also decision. Yeah, so I've been in the files of Echo, and Echo's files are like comically poorly organized. I'm gonna talk mad shit about you guys, Echo Project, whoever's watching. The Ad Astra game folder is super organized. It's so clean. There's like a music folder, a backgrounds folder, a characters folder, and then in the character folder is a separate folder for every individual character. Like, the only way it could be more organized is if, like, the state of dress or undress was also its own folder, which I created when I was doing the essay, because I made separate folders for how dressed the characters...
just for the essay.
I made separate folders for how dressed the characters were, so I could use so I didn't have to deal... So that when I chose different expressions, they wouldn't randomly change levels of clothing, because those are just in there with each other. In the, let's see, we already did both of these before. I don't know if there's anything new left, because this is getting high stakes that romance probably might not come up anymore. But the Echo project. So the 50 individual images that make up the animation are in their own folder. Almost nothing else is. Just every single asset you see for the entire game, every sprite variation of every character, every background, every single thing, every visual of this entire game is just in one folder together. And like, their naming scheme isn't even consistent sometimes. Like, some characters are just named their character, but Jenna's name is like Echo Jenna. And like, they're just, it's actually a trip where like you can like know a character's name and you can search that character's name in the search bar for the folder to quickly try to get just only their images, and they won't come up because they called it something else. And it's just such a trip.
I mean, to be completely fair, if I made a game, my organization would not be at all for you to look at. It'd be for me as a person.
I would just imagine that they'd want some kind of organization. It just sounds like a nightmare to work on. I'm like, I don't understand how they didn't get folders for this. Like, whatever team did all the work behind the scenes for Ad Astra, it's super organized. And I just don't, and it's exactly how I would imagine it would be organized. I just don't know why Echo's like this. This is literally not a problem. It's just confusing to me. I just don't know why you wouldn't do it. But anyway,
to each their own.
We made it all the way here. Charlize Theron. Well, I'm happy you're my friend too. I'm gonna hate to see you leave for Weston after this semester.
I've been thinking about that, actually.
Huh?
I might just take the upcoming fall semester off from formal studies.
Really? You've been pretty apt about getting your education done as soon as possible up to this point.
Well, I've got some offers for sabbatical lined up, as well as a part-time internship or two. Nothing that would really hurt my resume. There's still quite a lot you can do with a bachelor's degree.
Is this the same Jenna I've known all these years, taking it easy? I'm really shocked.
And not blowing up a dam?
Yeah.
And drowning a whole town? Whoa!
I smirk, and she just pats her shoulder affectionately.
Hey, maybe your slacker ways have rubbed off on me.
What? What are you talking about? I respond, putting on an indignant tone.
Oh yeah, just spend the 4 months playing video games, catching up on my manga, flirting with hunky boys. You know how it goes.
Calling a zebra again.
Fuck, I'd call a zebra again.
That zebra gets a 7-digit number. Hunky boys.
Of course. And, oh yeah, I almost forgot. Now that you've survived a couple near-death encounters, when are you gonna profess your love for TJ? Oh shit!
It's still coming up.
Oh no.
Jenna.
I laugh over Keith's grumbling. In the meantime, I'm definitely going to start writing about our experiences here in Echo, specifically our most recent ones. How augmented the perceptions of people, sometimes even in groups, is almost downright paranormal.
Almost?
Nothing's actually paranormal. I'm certain there's actual inputs and variables, blah, 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 blah. Let's pick,
random. I'm crazy. Some cookie. And then you don't get to make the choice.
And she's like, fuck off. I choose.
Well, it's not. No, so Jenna doesn't disregard our choice. We disregard Samuel's choice. Not we. Chase disregards Samuel's or our choice. And our choice? I think we just are Samuel. It shows the Samuel font.
Yeah.
But instead, so we choose an option, but then Chase disregards our choice and instead gives the choice to Jenna, which is concerning because it means he's just continued to never make a choice in his life, which was reinforced by the prequel. Book of Job, hip, hop, skip, and the chew toys.
I just read Book of Job.
You've got the patience of Job. A few of these names have a space after them. Oh, wait, no, they all do. Never mind. I thought I saw a weird formatting thing. We've seen this before, but I don't think I can skip it. Oops, sorry, everyone. Oops. Well, I restarted it. Oh, did I skip it this time? I don't know what just happened.
I think you just broke everything.
I broke it. I'm too powerful. Oh, no, it's just starting over. Alright, well, title. We did it. So ends Jenna Begay.
Wait, the music's still playing.
Spooky. I think it's just gonna have to be overridden by something like new game. Oh.
No, it's broken. You did break it.
I broke everything. Anyway, see you guys next time.
Adios. This cacophony is awful.
We were so close to being done last time. Apparently. Whoops.